everybody. We're going to get started on time because we've got a full house here. I'm going to call the May meeting to order at 6 p.m. and turn it over to Murr for a roll call, please.
Mrs. Wood,
Here.
Mrs. Schumacher, Mrs. Anderson,
I'm here.
Dr. Franks, here. Mr. Gardner, here. Mr. Sorensen, here. Chair Wright.
Here. If you'll please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And with that, we're going to jump right into recognition. And Tiff and Steph, I think you're helping tonight.
Chair Wright, Superintendent Libby, and the rest of the board, if you could join us down here on the floor for recognitions. My grandbaby's here. She's out. Okay, we're going to start off recognitions with our young authors. Schools throughout Wyoming are encouraged to participate in the Young Authors Contest. This statewide writing competition is offered for grades K through 12. Entries include poems, nonfiction, fiction, and graphic novels. The Young Authors Contest provides students the opportunity to write for enjoyment and to share their writing. Our school district authors submitted over 180 entries, which were judged by the district coordinator, Cassie Lewis, and 3 judges, Rebecca Stone, Karina Searle, and Samantha Warden. We thank these four for reading and judging all of the amazing entries. Our district winners were honored in an assembly in March. The winning entries from the district are then submitted to the state contest. Tonight, we would like to recognize and congratulate our winners from the state contest. So for this one, I'm going to call all of our winners for the first place for state in the district. We'll get everybody up here, and then we'll do the pictures that we need to take for parents and the school district. So the first one is Zoe Jones. She is a 3rd grade student at North Park Elementary, and her title was Adventure Friends. Bennett Pedri is a 5th grade student at Eastside Elementary, and her title was My World in Words. Adeline McBurnett is a 7th grader at Rock Springs Junior High, and her title was My Favorite Things. Braylee Bennett is a 9th grader at Rock Springs High School, and her title, I'm going to say it in English because I can't say it in French, is Tears of a Miserable and Desperate. Rachel Rodriguez, an 11th grader at Rock Springs High School, and the title was Beneath the Tides. Sophia Sturdivant is a 7th grader at Rock Springs Junior High, and the title is From Lost to Light. Renly Vasa is a 1st grade student at North Park Elementary, and the title is Snowy's Big Adventure. These are all of our first place state winners. So if we could get the administrators and the teachers of these students to come up and take a picture.
Go snuggle in, guys. Snuggle in.
Oh, yes. And the judges. I'm going to recognize the judges at the very end too, but if I could get the 4 judges to also join for this first picture. Congratulations. The next young authors group that we're going to mention and celebrate is our honorable mention state winners from Sweetwater 1. Natalia Ariano, first grade student at Stagecoach, and the title is The Seasons. Carly Marshall, third grade student at Sage, and the title is My Best Friend Has 4 Legs. Braylee Bentley, ninth grade student at Rock Springs High School. The title is Guns, Gas, and Homefronts, The Many Frontiers of World War I. Wynn Pedri, third grade student at Desert View, and the title is The Mythics. Boston Jarvie, fourth grade student at Pilot View Elementary, and the title is The Cheeseball Adventure. Braylon Harris, an 11th grade student at Rock Springs High School. The title is Spellcasters. So additionally, we would like to also recognize the judges, Karina Searles, Rebecca Stone, Samantha Beard, and Cassie Lewis. So if the judges, the administrators, and the teachers would like to come up and join this group for a picture. Congratulations. You are next, yep. Okay. Next is the Rock Springs High School Staff Members of the Month for the month of April. Our first one is Alexander Buckman, Rock Springs science teacher. Alexander Buckman is nominated by the students for the way he makes learning feel approachable, supportive, and engaging. Students described him as kind, patient, caring, and easy to talk to. They appreciate that he takes the time to explain different concepts, especially in science, and that he creates a classroom environment where students feel comfortable asking questions and seeking help without feeling embarrassed. In addition to his impact in the classroom, Alex is also a swim coach, further demonstrating his investment in students beyond academics. His involvement in athletics shows that he is engaging in our kids' lives in multiple settings, and he is committed to helping them grow as learners, teammates, and young people. Alex is a reflective and dedicated teacher. He is thoughtful about his practice, committed to continuous growth, and intentional in the way he supports students. Though both teaching and coaching, Alex builds strong relationships and helps students feel supported, encouraged, and valued. Thank you, Alex. Our next high school student or teacher of the month is Ellie Davis, and she is a Rock Springs High School English teacher. Ellie Davis was nominated by students for her kindness, patience, and welcoming environment she creates in her classroom. Students described her as a helpful, supportive, funny, and inspiring. They share that she makes them feel cared for, encouraged, while also challenging them to do their best academically. Students especially appreciate the way Ellie creates a space where they feel comfortable, included, and valued. Her kindness is evident in the way she interacts with students, offers individual supports, and encourages creativity. One student shares that her lessons and projects helped strengthen their writing and inspire them to continue writing creatively, which speaks to the meaningful impact she has on our students beyond a single assignment or class period. Ellie's classroom environment reflects the kind of care and consistency that helps students feel safe, taking risks, asking questions, and growing as learners. Through meaningful lessons, positive relationships, and a warm classroom culture, Ellie helps students feel both challenged and supported. She is the kind of educator who makes students feel like they belong, and her impact is clearly felt by the students she serves. Thank you, Ellie. Next is Deborah Burback, Rock Springs High School Case Manager. Deborah Burback is deeply dedicated to special education as a case manager who consistently demonstrates care, commitment, and professionalism in her work with students and staff. She loves our kids and shows that through her daily actions, advocacy, and willingness to go above and beyond, make sure that students feel supported. Deborah is also an incredible support to the entire special education team. She brings an analytical mindset and a strong understanding of special education processes, which allows her to approach challenges thoughtfully and effectively. She consistently brings forward ideas, solutions, and creative approaches that help strengthen systems and improve outcomes for our students. She does not simply identify needs, she actively works to address them. Her collaborative mindset, strong communication, and thoughtful problem solving make her a trusted teammate and a steady resource for those around her. What stands out most about Deborah is her willingness to take on responsibility far beyond what her job description requires. She is extremely thorough, dependable, and intentional in the way she approaches her work. Whether she is supporting students, assisting a colleague, or helping improve team processes, Deborah brings a level of dedication that makes a special education department stronger. We are proud to have Deborah on Team Tiger as a staunch advocate for our students. Her impact is felt not only by the students she serves, but by the entire team that benefit from her leadership, care, and commitment. Thank you, Deborah. Next, we would like to recognize Robin Johnson. We would like to please recognize Robin Johnson. She is a long-term sub in the first grade at Desert View. Last week, we had a student stop breathing because he was choking on a piece of candy. Robin swooped in quickly by performing the Heimlich maneuver and saving the student. We are so grateful for Robin and her quick thinking and wit-ness during this stressful situation. We have been lucky to have her as part of our Mustang crew this year, and we were especially lucky that day. Thank you, Robin. With success of Wyoming's RIDE initiative, it is a direct reflection of the dedication, innovation, and professionalism of our educators. We extend our most sincere thank you to the teachers who have embraced this work for the last 2 years with purpose and commitment. Your efforts to design and implement student-centered learning environments paired with thoughtful and meaningful assessment practices are making lasting impact on students across our schools. By prioritizing individual student needs, fostering engagement, and assessment as a tool to guide growth, you are helping redefine what learning looks like. Your willingness to adapt, collaborate, and lead through change demonstrates not only your expertise, but also your deep commitment to student success. Thank you for your time, energy, and care you invest each day. Your work is shaping more responsive, empowering education experiences for students, and it does not go unnoticed. So from Rock Springs High School, we would like to recognize Cody Parentoni and Angie Banks. From Black Butte High School, Chris Clifton and Michelle Kite. Chelsea Lund and Kaylee Hanna. From Farson, Jake Summers, Veronica Ray, Ward Wise. And from Rock Springs Junior High, Brianna Jackman, Caroline Smallstig, Peyton Spalding, and Jennifer Yetter.
Okay, grab them if you see them. Good job. Thank you guys.
If I could get, I think all of the administrators are up here.
Oh, sorry.
Next, we would like to recognize Aubrey Budelman, who will be a junior this fall. She developed a preschool program entitled Kinder Launch as part of her research project, a student-led initiative with the RIDE program. The REACH project requires students to identify a need, design a solution, and bring it to life with faculty serving as an advisory role. Kinder Launch operates on campus for 45 minutes, 2 days a week, and engages fellow high school students as classroom assistants. Since the launch in October, the program has received overwhelmingly positive feedback from parents who remain on campus while their children participate. Aubrey independently created lesson plans, designed promotional materials, communicated with interested parents, developed schedules for high school students who assisted with the kids, trained the high school students, and established policies and procedures, as well as a budget. She also coordinated with school administration and families to successfully implement and sustain the program. Kinder Launch will continue through the remainder of the school year and beyond. Notably, Aubrey accomplished all of this while serving as a Wyoming Student Council State Secretary, participating in athletics, and maintaining her academic and extracurricular commitments. Aubrey took a tour of the University of Wyoming on our campus pass trip this past fall, and where she will be fortunate to meet Professor Noble, the chair of the Leadership and Ethics Department, who spoke to her about her project. Congratulations, Aubrey. With great pride, we congratulate and present Jeffrey Goodwin. He is selected as the all-conference team for the 25-26 basketball season in the 1A Southwest Conference. He finished the season with scoring an average of 16.3 points per game. That was good for third in the conference per points per game, as well as fifth in all of the 1A. He led the team in steals with the season with 43 in total. And he also totaled 5.6 rebounds per game. He had 6 games with 20 plus points in each game. Off the court, Jeffrey is an incredible student, never had any troubles with grades, and he's involved in his family. He's a great big brother. He's involved with his church and community. He is very responsible, dependable, and always available. All important attributes of the best of the Pronghorns. We look forward to his senior year as he becomes a solo senior leader of the program. Congratulations, Jeffrey.
Okay, it's my turn to tag in. All right. Next, Rock Springs High School Winter Sports and Activities Recognition. For girls basketball, Hannah Milliman. For boys basketball, Antonio Cortez. Oh, sorry, Hannah was first team all conference. For boys basketball, Antonio Cortez, first team all conference. And Boston James, first team all conference and first team all state. For boys swimming, Kylan Clark, all conference. Noah Riberty, all conference. Bennett Bonsell, all conference. For cheerleading, sorry, am I going way too fast, Tiff? Am I killing you? Okay. For cheerleading, Aislinn Abram, first team all conference and second team all state. Brooke East, first team all conference and first team all state. Gabriella McKim, first team all conference. Emma Hudson, first team all conference and first team all state. Genevieve Chavez, first team all conference and first team all state. Natalie Rios, first team all conference. For dance, Kennedy Scott, first team all conference and all state. Gracie Green, first team all conference and all state. Allison Shalade, first team all conference and all state. Breslin Shelley, first team all conference and all state. Addison Gonzalez, first team all conference and all state. For speech, Tiff, you want me to wait a sec? You good? I'm just trucking through. All right, I think we're caught up. We'll jump into speech and debate. Jeremiah Bear, state champion in humorous interpretation and national qualifier in humorous interpretation and world schools debate and policy debate and big questions debate. Isabel Hale, national qualifier in informative speaking and world schools debate and policy debate. Bailey Anderson, national qualifier, congressional debate. In band, we have Alice Whitfield, all-state band. Matthew Lemon, all-state band. Skylar Riddle, all-state band. For choir, we have Josh Davies, all-state. Hannah Bay, all-state. Adeline Barrett, all-state. Isabel Hale, all-state jazz. And for boys wrestling, Santiago Cruz, all-state. I think that's it for that one. Come on, you guys should be helping. No, that's next. Those were turn seconds. Sorry, can we have the coaches please come up if we have coaches? Coaches, administrators, all these lovely tigers. Come on, girlies. Snuggle in, everybody. Awesome.
I'll be faster.
Well, I'm really blasted. Okay, next, we are going to recognize Skills USA state champions. Peyton Anderson, earning a third place culinary arts, winning a Cuisinart food processor, a $1,000 scholarship. Joseph Boltz and Emma Calvi earned a gold medal in commercial USAS drone, receiving $2,000 in scholarships. Shad Frazier earned a gold medal in welding sculpture, receiving a welding helmet and a $2,000 scholarship. And Charlie Parentoni earned a gold medal in early childhood education. She received a $2,000 scholarship. Come on, teachers, get up there. Principals, teachers.
With the group of nurses too, so she supervises them.
Okay. The Wyoming School Nurse Association, WSNA, is composed of approximately 100 members representing school communities across the state. This year, 13 heartfelt nominations were submitted statewide, including 4 outstanding nurses from Sweetwater County School District Number 1. These nurses were recognized by administrators, staff, and parents for the professionalism, compassion, and dedication they bring to their school communities every day. We are incredibly proud of our nurses and believe each is deserving of meaningful recognition. On behalf of the WSNA Board and Sweetwater County School District Number 1 nurses, we are honored to announce that April Buss of Sage Elementary was selected by her state peers as the 2025-2026 WSNA School Nurse of the Year. We would also like to recognize and celebrate all 4 We'd also like to recognize and celebrate all 4 SCSD1 nurses who were nominated this year and share the impact each nurse has made within her school communities. So April Buss, Sage Elementary 2025-2026 Wyoming School Nurse of the Year. April is a registered nurse with 19 years of professional experience spanning obstetrics, labor and delivery, orthopedics, operating room nursing, bedside care, and school nursing. She has served as a valued school nurse at Sage Elementary for 7 years. April was nominated by Darcy Punches Mickelson, Lindsay Lameda, Vanessa Johnson, Tori Cole, and Emily Weimer. Throughout her tenure, April has been an active member of WSNA and has served as secretary for 5 years. April provides daily care and support to more than 300 students in kindergarten through 3rd grade, ensuring a safe, nurturing, and responsive health environment. She was nominated by her administrator and school staff, who consistently praised her commitment, warmth, and professionalism in serving students and the broader school community. Her school nurse colleagues within SCSD1 value her diligence, clinical expertise, and collaborative spirit. Widely regarded as a rock star and exceptional teammate, April exemplifies excellence in school nursing and serves as a trusted advocate for student health and wellness. Through her dedication, leadership, and compassion, April represents the highest standards of the Wyoming School Nurse Association and is a deserving recipient of the 2026 School Nurse of the Year Award.
The rest of the
nurses are welcome to come up.
I've
with
got,
what you want.
yes.
We're gonna get the others.
She has to stay the whole time, right? Okay, we'll continue. Anna Grube, Pilot Butte Elementary, Farson Schools. Anna Grube brings 15 years of nursing experience, including 13 years serving students in SCSD1. A nationally certified school nurse, Anna has supported multiple schools across the district and currently serves students as Pilot Butte and Farson. She was nominated by Joshua Marcy and Elizabeth Bramwell in recognition of her outstanding service and dedication. Anna is known for her compassionate, student-centered care and her calm, reassuring presence. She consistently prioritizes student safety and well-being while creating a welcoming environment where students feel comfortable seeking help. Her strong clinical skills, professionalism, and ability to remain composed during urgent situations make her a trusted resource for both students and staff. Anna also excels in communication and collaboration, building strong partnerships with families and school teams to ensure students receive the support they need. Organized, dependable, and proactive, she advocates for student health and success while fostering meaningful relationships that positively impact attendance, confidence, and overall well-being. Anna, clap, clap, clap. Okay. Jamie Lovato, Stagecoach Elementary. Jamie Lovato brings 23 years of nursing experience, including medical, surgical, intensive care, postoperative nursing, and hospital education, along with 8 years as a dedicated and impactful nationally certified school nurse. Jamie was nominated by Jessica Smith, a parent of students she has cared for at Stagecoach, in recognition of her exceptional commitment to student health and well-being. Jamie is known for her steady, skilled, and student-centered approach to care. She supports students with complex medical needs, including seizures and diabetes, while creating a trusting and reassuring environment for both students and families. Her genuine warmth and positive presence help build strong relationships across the school community. Jamie also connects with students beyond the health office, serving as a guest reader and building meaningful relationships that support both health and learning. Families and staff deeply trust her advocacy, expertise, and compassionate care. As described in her nomination, Jamie is more than a nurse. She is a mentor, leader, confidant, and friend whose impact strengthens the entire school community. Thank you, Jamie.
She also said to support leaders nominated, but we don't need to read it. She's not here.
Okay. Courtney Callista was also nominated, but she is not here tonight.
Any other administrators? Josh, Barbara. Barbara. Yeah.
Barbara's coming.
Wait.
Thank you, nurses. The end of the school year is bittersweet as students and staff have given their all and are ready for summer break, but it is also the time where we honor our retirees of Sweetwater 1. Recognitions include Connie Johnson, a kindergarten teacher with 17 years. Heck yeah.
I'll take him. I'll retire right now.
It's hard to shake hands with all that. Where's her principal?
Christy Doak, a social worker with 11 years. She hasn't been able to join us tonight. Kimberly Buston, a PE health teacher with 34 years. Tanya Vessels, a 6th grade teacher with 19 years. Jennifer Heck, a resource teacher with 10 years. I know Jennifer's here. And last but not least, Chris Winward, a counselor with 31 years who was not able to join us tonight. And that, my friends, concludes recognition.
Okay, we will go ahead and proceed with the agenda. And Steph, you're going to help us with an education corner?
I am. You guys thought you got rid of me, but I'm back. I promise I'll be quick. So I just wanted to fill our community and the board in. We have our annual Apple order that's going to the board for approval tonight. We had some exciting news. It's been shared a little bit. Apple released the Neo laptop, which we've done some testing with it, and we think this is going to meet the needs of our students. So we're actually ordering all of our 3rd graders and 8th graders new Neo laptops, which are half the price of what we have been paying in the past for what they get. So that is a big cost savings. I also had a question. Sorry, I've been talking a lot, guys. Okay. I also had a question on the Apple Care. We started doing this a few years ago. We learned that we can pay approximately $159 for 4 years of Apple Care. So that means if a student breaks their computer, if a student, whether intentionally or on accident, we can send it into Apple to be repaired at 0 cost. There's no cost to the district. I will say this has more than paid for itself. A regular display replacement on a laptop is about $395. And so we can send a laptop in 8 times over 4 years to have a display fixed. We also purchased the Apple Care on our iPads. So if something happens to one of the iPads, we can send that right in and Apple will replace it. It's been huge. We have 1 service person in the district, and to try to keep up with that many repairs, I know you wouldn't think that students break or damage laptops ever. But I will say that since January of 2024, we've sent in 689 laptops that have been repaired. So it's been a real benefit to the district as far as cost savings. Pretty fast.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Okay, we will move on to superintendent reports. Dr. Libby.
Good evening. Thank you. I have a pretty short report. So we've got an attendance update. May, we were at 4,600 students, and that is up from the 4,592 from last month. One of the announcements out is we've got certified negotiations coming up next week. So we'll have those taken care of as we move forward. We're continuing to do some work on the non-siloed. And the other pieces I think that came out I wanted to share was there was a letter that came out from WASHA, the Wyoming High School Athletics Association letter, that had some information in it around some potential opportunities or some potential challenges that we may be looking at throughout this coming year. There was a question that came out earlier. Did we have any, were there any thoughts around any reductions of any of our athletics or activities for this upcoming school year? And we don't have any. We're planning on running solid with all of our programs, just as we've done before, unless there is something that happens at the state level that reduces a program out where there's no competition. We're full steam ahead on everything that we're going to do for the next 26-27 school year. And then if we have to make any modifications or adjustments to the upcoming year, we will make those modifications and adjustments then. We had a relatively significant hit to our budget, but I think when we offset it with the amount of opportunities that those programs have for our students, I think it's well worth having a longer conversation around making sure that we have those opportunities for our students to participate. So with that, that's my highlights. I stand for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, so Dr. Libby, thanks. The letter talked about some like $4 or $5 million lost statewide. Do we know? We probably can't tell for sure, but do you know roughly what the hit will be for our district?
I can. We lost a little bit over $300,000 between Farson and Rock Springs High School. I want to say we were about 334, 340, somewhere in there.
Any other questions? Okay, let's move on to board reports. First and foremost, I just want to wish a happy belated Mother's Day to all the women in our district, because I know that lots of you are mothers and lots of you who are not are still mother figures for students in the district. So I just want to celebrate you and say thank you for all that you do. And on that note, I also want to extend our sincere thanks to all of our district staff in light of all the appreciation days that we've been celebrating the last month. I just want the district staff to know that your hard work, your time, and your unwavering commitment to our students makes a meaningful difference every single day. The dedication that you bring to your roles strengthens not only our school, but our entire community. We are grateful for everything you do and for the care and professionalism you consistently demonstrate. Thank you for your continued commitment to our students' success. While I'm throwing out thank yous, I also want to say that I had the opportunity to volunteer for the Pilot Butte House Hero Day on the day that they chose to go up to the high school for the Health Academy. And that was last Tuesday, May 5th. I don't know if anybody remembers the weather that day, but I think we got more snow in 2 hours of that day than we got all of winter. We actually had an incident at the high school that was a real incident. And so we weren't even halfway through our first station before all of our kids got evacuated. And before we had left Pilot, all the students were told that it was an indoor field trip. So go ahead and leave your coats behind. And so nobody had anything more than the t-shirt on their back. But what impressed me most, first and foremost, was the students at the high school, the Health Academy students. They all acted like nothing was different. They took charge of their groups of students. They were leaders. They helped calm down the situation, walked everybody out of the building. And these kids were taking counts and taking attendance of their own little groups and doing everything that you'd expect the teachers to do. And they just took charge and did it. So I want to thank them. They acted very professionally, and I was really surprised by that. I also want to thank all the staff at the high school, the Pilot Butte staff, and as well as the transportation department, because I know they had dropped us off, planned to go out for a little bit, and it wasn't but minutes later they were called back to come pick everybody up. The other thing is, I can't even explain to you guys how many students out on the field. It was cold, it was wet, it was blowing, everybody was freezing and shaking like a leaf. And I witnessed acts of generosity all over the place. People who did have coats were letting other people wear them. They were trying to huddle in groups. They were trying to share and shelter each other from the wet and cold. And so it was just really cool. And I know that it wasn't planned and it wasn't practiced. I mean, we've done evacuation drills, we've done other things, but this was students taking charge of other littler students and things that we don't normally do on a day-to-day basis. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that was involved in that for stepping up and keeping everybody safe and calm. That was really cool. Next thing, and I'm going to kind of pass it along to each of you after I start here, but we did have the opportunity to do a training with Lee Pritzel, and Lee has a book out that we've done our book study on recently. He really talks about self-awareness and active listening and properly fulfilling our roles and responsibilities as board members. So I asked, hopefully, if each board member can just share their favorite part of that training. I'll tell you guys, mine was the topic of one-upping. It's something that I think we humans do a lot and we don't even realize we do it. I know that I've done it myself a lot. So one-upping is when somebody's telling you how bad their day is, how awful everything is, and you're like, yeah, I totally get it. It's been awful for me too. I've had all these things happen to me. And you feel like you're trying to relate to the person, but in all actuality, you're kind of stilling the reason that they came to talk to you. They needed to get something off their chest. They needed to be heard. And this idea of one-upping is something that I think myself included need to be very cognizant of, because when somebody's telling you about the struggles that they're going through, they're looking for somebody to listen. So I thought that was really cool. And on that note, I also thought it was neat that we all got to spend 8 hours together because that doesn't happen very often. So there were a lot of very raw, candid discussions that allowed us all to reflect on. And I think that was probably more important than anything. On the note of Lee, real quick, if you guys will consider and look at your schedule, I know this may impact some and not others, but we'd like to have Lee back in early December, probably that first week, and we're trying to figure out if a weekday or a weekend is better. But we want to try to make this an ongoing effort so that we can look back and keep the conversation going. So as you're going around sharing your update, if you have a comment on a weekend or a weekday, please let me know. With that, we'll turn it over to Ms. Anderson.
Thank you. Thanks for the happy Mother's Day. That's really nice of you. The most memorable thing with the Lee Pritzel, I think, was Angelica's description of me and my favorite drink, which is wine. But Red Bull. Right, yeah. No, it was good. We definitely had a lot of conversation centered around leadership, but also what it looks like as a school board member, which is something that was really helpful to me because this is my first time and I'm not in education, having prepared stuff back to me. Like this is what this looks like. This is what this should look like. And so it was really helpful. I enjoyed him. He's very candid. He's very just right out there. And I like that about people where don't beat around the bush. Just tell me what you're thinking because I'm not a mind reader. So let's hear it. And so I really like that. And I learned a ton from it. So yeah. Thanks, Angelica.
Yeah, and if that doesn't make sense, he did a little team building exercise and just allowed us to fill in favorite dishes, favorite drinks, favorite movies. There were some interesting answers there. So it was fun. Mr. Gardner. Have any updates? Oh, you weren't.
I don't have an update on that, but real quickly, I was able to attend the curriculum committee meeting. Some really great discussions continuing on collective and individual efficacy. It's really great to see that group of people working together to really enhance and build our curriculum throughout the district, K through 12, all the special services. You leave that meeting every single time very excited about the work that the district's putting forward with regard to our curriculum. So the hard work continues.
Thank you, Dr. Franks. Okay. We forgot the weekday thing. We're doing good. Mr. Sorensen.
I think in December, usually weekdays work better. Seems like the weekends are a mess in December, but
Okay, thanks.
I could be wrong. All of December is a mess sometimes, but I look forward to it. As far as the training goes, I think it's good for all of us to have to self-reflect. And that's what our training made us do on an individual level and at the board level. And I think when you actually look at yourself and what you're doing, you can always grow from that. And so I appreciate that we had a moderator, presenter, something that wasn't afraid to hold the mirror up to you. And so I gained a lot from the training. So
Appreciate that. Thanks. Ms. Wood.
She says her favorite drink is Red Bull. I'm just kidding. What I took away from having Lee here was something that stood out was the gotcha, the continued trying to one up, kind of going off of what Cole said. I've done it myself, but it put it in a different perspective for me, just hearing people out instead of trying to prove them wrong every single time and then backing them in a corner. You can never stop with the learning as a board member. There's so much I learned with Lee, and I've been on the board almost 4 years. I'm going to go ahead and vote for a weekday. Weekends are a little hard for me for training. And also with Lee, there was no sugarcoating. I showed up late the first day and he made many comments about it. But yeah, if you're wanting to run for the board, read the book. Definitely reach out to him, ask as many questions. So that's me.
Awesome, thank you. Any other votes on weekend, weekday, informal votes? Let's shoot for a weekday and start and see what he can do. Thank you. Okay, with that, let's go ahead and move on. Oh, okay, go for it.
So a couple of months ago, I got to go to Farson's presentation with the students, their passion projects, whatever. And I snagged you guys the Farson Eden Community Cookbooks. So put together by Haley Boodleman. And she's got 2 more. I just grabbed 10, so however far that goes. But I thought it'd be a lot of fun to see what you cook in Farson. So
Thanks, Josh. All right, with that, can I please have a motion to approve the agenda as presented, including addendums? It's been moved by Ms. Wood. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Gardner. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, and now we'll go forward with approval to suspend the board meeting and open the public hearing. Is there a motion to approve to suspend the board meeting and open the public hearing? It's been moved by Ms. Wood again. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Gardner. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So we will open the public hearing. I'll just make a couple quick comments. So the first comment here is on alternative schedules. This is simply start and end times and holidays essentially, or days off for the school year. So the voting results are there in the attachment, and that's not centered around a 4-day or 5-day week. It's centered around days off. Did we also have, I guess that is it there. So we're going to have a public comment for the public hearing. Just to be very clear, this is only on this part of the agenda item. There will be another public comment like our regular meeting coming up in a little bit. So bear with me here for just a second. Thank you for attending today's board meeting and for your continued engagement with the district. As we move into the public comment portion, we kindly ask that each speaker limit their comments to 1 opportunity. If you have already submitted written public comments, we kindly request that you refrain from addressing the board again on the same topic. All written comments will be posted in the written public comment section of the agenda for review by all attendees, including trustees. Speakers may comment on district policy, operations, and programs and other matters that relate directly to the school district and the board's business. We ask that issues that are not of general importance to the broader community or relevant to board governance of the district should be addressed through appropriate administrative channels. Comments regarding the performance or employment of individual district employees are not permitted during public comment. Formal complaints about school personnel may be submitted to the Board of Trustees in accordance with policy KLD and using the form in KLD-E. Staff complaints or grievances should follow the process outlined in policy GBM. Comments regarding individual students will not be permitted. The district's legally prohibited from discussing confidential student matters in a public forum. If you are unable to finish your comments within the allotted 3 minutes, we invite you to submit the remainder in writing to the superintendent or board chair. These submissions will be shared with all board members after the meeting and will receive a response in the same manner as public comments. So are there any in-person public comments in pertinence to the public hearing? Any public comment? Go through the formality of asking 3 times. Are there any public comments? Wonderful. So with that, I don't believe we had any written public comments on this part of the agenda either. Okay. So with that, I will ask for an approval to close the public hearing and reconvene the board meeting. Is there a motion to close the public hearing meeting and reconvene the board meeting? It's been moved by Ms. Wood. Is there a second? By Mr. Garner. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Wonderful. Let's move forward. Superintendent's reports. Dan, were you any presentation from BOCES or anything you'd like to share?
Chairman, is this on? Okay, I'll lean down and adjust it. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Libby, thanks for having me here. Each year, annually, our board requests that we come out to make the mill levy request official, and that's what you have in your board packet. We've been updating our monthly reports. We want to include a lot more information, so I'm not coming here once a year trying to jam in the last 11 months of things that we've done over the years. So I will stand by that. I do have some information that we're looking at in regards to return on investment information, and just wanted to share that with you real quickly. If you would, because you're a member district, you provide that mill levy. Your average contribution over the last 3 years is about $300,000. That's what it comes to. Because you provide that, then we're able to offer savings back and all the services that you provide. And that comes back to about $160,000 worth of savings for the amount of resources that you provide for the services that you would have purchased without having that. And so that's something we're going to start to calculate as we go through to be able to really look at usage, what's provided to us, and calculate what we're hearing a lot in the business as a return on investment. And so that's something I wanted to share. And then just to highlight the programs that really impact Sweetwater One, Roosevelt Learning Center, Seabar V Ranch, and then the outreach services that we provide, and any professional development that we provide around special ed, threat assessment that we provided to the district. So if there's not any questions about any brief information I had, or I'll answer questions on anything that you may have on anything that I provided. So,
Any questions? Looks like you're off the hook.
that's all right as well. So we do appreciate, Angelica, we appreciate you on the board. So we appreciate the board member you provide. That's probably that's the biggest thing that you provide us, is being able to have a contributing board member, and Angelica as one. So thank you for that. Thank you for all your support. All right.
Thank you very much. And then for the trustees, there's also the preliminary budget there for your information. The fact of the matter is, on this, we anticipate lots of changes still as the budget evolves. So we'll talk about it more at the June meeting. And we'll probably be more defined at that point as well. But you can see what Mr. Gonzalez has put together there. Okay. Cruising right along here. So now we will go to our regular public comment. Thanks for bearing with me again. We'll just go through this one more time. Thank you for attending today's board meeting and for your continued engagement with the district. As we move into the public comment portion, we kindly ask that each speaker limit their comments to one opportunity. If you've already submitted written comments, we kindly request that you refrain from addressing the board again on the same topic. All written comments will be posted in the written public comment section of the agenda for review by all attendees, including trustees. Speakers may comment on district policies, operations, and programs, or other matters that relate directly to the school district and the board's business. We ask that issues that are not of general importance to the broader community or relevant to the board's governance of the district should be addressed through appropriate administrative channels. Comments regarding the performance or employment of individual district employees are not permitted during public comment. Formal complaints about school personnel may be submitted to the Board of Trustees in accordance with policy KLD and using the form in KLD-E. Staff complaints or grievances should follow the procedures outlined in the policy GBM. Comments regarding individual students will not be permitted. The district is legally prohibited from discussing confidential student matters in a public forum. If you are unable to finish your comments within the allotted 3 minutes, we invite you to submit the remainder in writing to the superintendent or board chair. These submissions will be shared with all board members after the meeting and will receive a response in the same manner as public comment. And on this one, we did have several written public comments. They are attached there to the meeting. So please pay attention to that. And with that, we'll open it to in-person public comments.
Board of Trustees, Superintendent Libby, and Chair Wright. My name is Sherelle O'Driscoll, and I come tonight as a parent. And I would like to talk about agenda item number 10, administrative contracts, and ask that they go to a roll call vote. I would also do not think that Assistant Superintendent Nicole Bolton should be renewed.
Hey, Sherelle, if you'll please keep your comments to not specific individuals, I would appreciate that.
Okay, and then I would like to pivot, and I would like to ask about tonight's public written comments that were redacted, and they both mentioned blocking of emails. And as an invested member of the community, I would also like to know how this will be handled. You all are elected officials who we voted on, and we want to be able to reach out to you with confidence. This seems like a huge violation, and I would like to see full transparency, the public updated as reviewing if our district has a filtering policy and if we are really filtering emails and why this is being allowed. Again, I ask who's in charge because the waters seem to be a bit muddy. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherelle. That written public comment was submitted tonight, so it's something that the board will take into consideration and look into. Further public comment?
My name is Cole Seppi, and I'm here as a parent and community member. I'm here today to bring my concerns related to the proposed certified administrator renewals. As a community member, parent, and former board member, I was saddened to see that given the chance to evaluate positions, the superintendent has chosen not once but twice to provide this current list. Some administrators who were put students first were not renewed, while others remained despite failing to reflect the same standard of leadership. That raises serious questions. Are the decisions based on merit and student outcomes or favoritism and blind loyalty to the cab? The district has continued to lose quality educators and administrators, not because of a lack of target stores to shop at or because of a lack, but rather of a lack of professional culture. We have lost 79 certified employees to resignation or non-renewal since Mr. Libby joined this district. Those are not just vacancies on a spreadsheet. They are people and families. And professionals who have chosen this community are now being driven away. Every day accountability is delayed, the damage grows. You should face those employees and explain to them the need for patience while they pack up their boxes and look for new homes and jobs. Normally, a board member would just accept the recommendations of the superintendent. That's what I did last year. Within a very short time, I realized I had made a mistake. I knew that I needed to be a better board member. I needed to ask the questions, and I needed to owe up to the fact that I needed to be responsible to those students, the teachers, and the community as a whole. After realizing this, I had realized I had made a mistake, and I was going to rectify that by doing better the next year. While I'm no longer a board member, I will use my voice to fight for this change still. The good news is that as a board, you are the ultimate decision makers. And today, your names will forever be etched on the outcomes of this vote. You are aware of the concerns which have been raised repeatedly by more than just 8 angry voices, along with multiple state investigations. To dismiss them is not ignorance, it's negligence. As a member of the board, it is time for you to perform your duties and provide oversight. I have heard multiple times from board members that it takes time and patience. Work harder. You can approve this list and accept responsibility for every name on it and every name left off. Or you can do what this moment requires. Ask hard questions, demand accountability, and put this district and its students first. Your vote will define where you stand. Do you stand for accountability, or do you just stand for actions such as this? Remember, our children are watching, and no matter how much or no matter how cash rich or poor this district is, integrity is free.
Thank you, Mr. Seppi. Further public comment?
Good evening, Superintendent Libby and Board Chair Wright and trustees. I want to address concerns regarding transparency, accountability, and accuracy in information presented to the public by district leadership. At the February 9th board meeting, HR Director Tiffany Gunter stated that the district had already reached out to other Wyoming school districts regarding vacancy reporting practices and had information from those districts. Specifically, the public was told that Tiffany was asked in January to reach out to the other districts, and they had done so. However, records later produced through Wyoming Public Records Act show the outreach email to 5 other districts was not sent until March 5th, nearly a month after that public meeting. So the timeline presented publicly does not match the records produced by the district. I requested clarification and asked whether any earlier emails, phone calls, notes, or communication existed showing outreach before February 9th. No such earlier records have been produced. The issue is not whether districts communicates with one another or other districts. The issue is whether the board and the public were given accurate information during a public meeting. Our district employees being allowed to present information publicly without verified factual support. Is the board getting actual verified factual information? And are we honestly acknowledging that we don't have retention concerns within this district? I also want to address Assistant Superintendent Nicole Bolton's handling of the records request process.
Cochran,
Despite years.
Please make sure that it pertains to board governance.
I am.
Okay.
Are you putting my time back?
Sure, we can do that. Zach, can you add 10, 15 seconds back on the clock?
Despite years in district administration and reportedly having trained others on compliance procedures, she failed to follow the district's own record request policy. Instead, this process involved delays, shifting explanations, attorney review charges billed at approximately $350 per hour, an hourly rate of $78.85 charged by Nicole Bolton to gather records, and ultimately a written admission that district policy timelines had not been followed. That should concern this board and this community. I also have concerns regarding the district statement that board chair Cole Wright's notes used for public board remarks required redactions related to FERPA, confidentiality laws, and executive session protections. That raises legitimate concerns about why confidential and executive session information was mixed into materials connected to public board comments. And I want to address comments previously made about gotcha moments. These are not gotcha moments. These are parents, staff, and community members asking more questions because of ongoing concerns regarding transparency, accountability, communication, and public trust within this district. When information does not align with records, when policies are not followed, and when communication with parents, staff, and students and the community is inconsistent, people naturally begin asking more questions. This is not political, that is accountability. And ultimately, how can this community trust the board to make decisions and vote on information presented to them when the district leadership is not consistently following policy or providing accurate information? How does that serve the best interest of our children, our staff, and our district? These issues affect the entire district: staff morale, parent trust, community confidence, and confidence in district leadership. Transparency and accountability are not optional responsibilities of public officials.
Cochran, your time's up. If you do want to submit any of the rest of that, we'd be happy to take a look at it. Further public comment?
Good evening. My name is Kelsey Hibbs. Tonight I want to address concerns regarding retaliation. This is something that we discussed at the last community meeting that Melissa and Chad held, which I want to thank you for, as I felt like we were really heard and a lot of good questions were asked. As someone who often has parents reach out to me with concerns regarding their own students, the number one thing that I hear is that they are afraid of retaliation if they were to speak out beyond the classroom teacher of their child. That is really concerning as somebody who had similar issues when it reached past the classroom, because that's where you have to go if you have a problem. And if it doesn't get resolved within the classroom, or if it does require by policy to involve other people, we can't have people being afraid to do that. District policies prohibit retaliation, not just during investigations, but anytime concerns are raised in good faith. Federal laws also make retaliation unlawful, yet many hesitate to speak because that's what they've seen happens to other people. It has been argued that many people don't speak up because they're afraid of people like me and other parents. However, many of us continue to have community members reach out, and I would argue that people don't ask for help from people that they're afraid of. I asked this question in November and it's never been addressed, even though I have also shared it on Facebook and I've had a Facebook comment publicly addressed. So I want to ask this again here tonight. Will you, as a board, publicly reaffirm that every teacher, staff member, parent, and student has the right to voice concerns in good faith without fear of retaliation or intimidation? This includes expressing their questions and concerns online, at board meetings, in emails, and at community meetings. When the board revised the public comment policy back in August, the main concern shared by Chair Wright per the district's legal team was that they wanted to avoid lawsuits because they valued following the law. I hope that that same concern applies to preventing retaliation because both of those things destroy trust and violate the spirit of the law. We've heard from community members, previous board members, teachers, staff, and other concerned stakeholders in this community who are having a lot of concerns about the names that you are going to vote on tonight. I ask that you please vote with your own conscience, with your own brain, and to not be so concerned about appearing united as a board, but to be concerned about each individual child in our district and the impact that the names that you're going to vote on may have on them. What you choose to not change is your choice to keep the same. So I ask that you to please thoughtfully consider if what you are choosing aligns best with what is best for our students. And lastly, I ask that you continue to put great stock in the opinions of the parents who are tucking in the students of our district every night, because those students are the ones who are on the greatest receiving ends of your choices. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hibbs. Further public comment?
Hi, Superintendent Libby and board members. I'm Laura McKee, and I have some concerns on the budget, that you guys are going to be looking at tonight. The function 1,000, which is instruction, is going from 51,823,278 to 60,000, and then also, or it could be million actually, 60 million, and then the instructional support is going up from 10,217,811 to 13,950,000. And then also the support services are about double. They're going from 29,232 to 52,900. So I have questions about that. I also remember Libby was talking about when we bought the CTE property about how that money is different than the general funds, but when I look through the budget, I noticed that the money wasn't in the budget. And then in November, there was a change order done where the money went into the budget, 6 million, but it had to have come from reserves. But that's the only place that I can see that it would have came from. But we really need as a public to be very transparent with how our budgets work. So I would like an answer to all those questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Further public comment? Further public comment? Further public comment? Okay. Then with that, we will move on to responses to the previous month's public comment. Dr. Libby, did you have any?
No, there was one public comment from last month, and there's no response.
That's right. I know that there was a couple written public comments that were, or at least one that was dealt with privately and another one that we needed to take offline. But with that also, Ms. Hibbs, I will be in touch with you or find a trustee that will be in touch with you, and we'll get some additional clarification as well and talk through that. With that in mind, let's move on to our consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are matters about which the board has governing policies implementation of which is delegated to the superintendent. They will be enacted in one motion in the order listed below. There will be no discussion of these items prior to the time the Board of Trustees votes on the motion unless members of the board request specific items be held and discussed separately and/or removed. If I can please have a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented and/or amended. It's been moved by Ms. Wood. Is there a second?
Second.
And second by Ms. Schumacher. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Okay, item 10 is the approval of the certified administrative staff recommended for the rehire for the 2026-2027 school year. If I can please have a motion to approve the certified administrative staff recommended for rehire for the 2026-2027 school year. It's been moved by Ms. Wood. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Schumacher. We'll open this up for discussion. I am going to start us out here. I just wanted to share this real quick with the community. Before we vote, I want to briefly note that my vote to approve these contracts is based on the superintendent's recommendation and our discussions as a board. Over the past several weeks, we have met with the superintendent to work through various questions raised by staff, parents, and community members regarding topics like recalibration, internal processes and procedures, and communications and expectations. Those conversations have been very candid and productive. We also have a plan in place to follow up on a quarterly basis or more frequently if needed to provide regular conversation around these topics. I want to thank those of you that were impacted by this delay for your patience and understanding. I also want to apologize for any angst this has caused you, as that was never the intent of the board. I believe it is appropriate to act on the contracts as presented tonight, while also making it clear that the board's attention and expectations to ensure accountability within our roles and responsibilities is ongoing. Is there any further discussion? Mr. Gardner, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to really thank Dr. Libby and the rest of the board for the time and really deep dive that we were able to put into this. It was instructive, to say the least, to actually understand from a broader perspective kind of where the recommendations come from and what supports those recommendations. It definitely is not something that's taken lightly. And I understand really no matter what happens, there's always people that are going to be unhappy with the result, but we have to act based on fact and data. And I mean, there's really no other objective way to do this. And I feel like we have the facts and data for me to be able to make a decision for myself tonight. And I hope that the rest of the board members are feeling the same, but if not, I really encourage that dialogue.
Any further discussion? Mr. Sorensen.
Sure. So I'm talking fellow board members. You guys can listen in if you want. Thank you guys for your time this last couple weeks. One thing Nicole's pointed out is the outpouring of positive feedback we got, but I also want to point out there's an outpouring of negative feedback. I really worry about our district and our community. We have a massive divide going on here, and I think us as a board, that's our job, is try to work through that. I know we are trying to do our best. I know we haven't solved all of our problems. We haven't started. We may have created more than we solved, but my vote to support today isn't necessarily a vote against those who aren't happy, but I do believe there's a process in place to evaluate, just like all of us in our various employment, we want to be evaluated following a process, and that process exists. And as things change, we can evaluate at that point too. So, but I do think it comes down to the seven of us to work towards building unity. And speaking to Dr. Libby, and hopefully you'll be on board with that, and we can find ways to bring the temperature down. I've said it before, and then a plea to the community too as well. I think we're doing a real disservice to our kids. It's just a real angry place right now, and we're all responsible for that. So We need to have open dialogue about it. I'm more than happy to talk to anybody. I always have been. And as far as board members, if you guys have ideas or thoughts, I'm always open for it. I mean, I think maybe a barbecue would fix everything. Some hot dogs or something, but that's just me. Food always fixes things. But that's my thoughts as far as all the discussions we've had. And that's why my vote will be to approve. And I want to thank the administrators. I know they're professionals. They work hard and they put a lot of hours in. And that's my thoughts.
So I just want to kind of piggyback, I guess, off of what everyone's saying so far, those who have spoke out, because I do not take our job lightly by any means. I think it's really, really important for me not to be concerned about winning a popularity contest, and for me not to simply just be liked by everyone that, you know, I talk to. And so for me, the biggest thing about my decision and ultimately my support comes from what we've done in even the last 30 days, which I agree with Chair Wright. It had some unintended consequences we weren't looking for as far as that goes. And that's definitely an apology, because that was not the intent to create more anxiety for those that are not in the spotlight doing great work as far as that goes too. The biggest thing for me is one of the things we're relying on is the process. And we've learned a lot about that process. A lot of hours have gone into what it is that we've done in the last, honestly, 2 weeks, let alone the last month. And late nights and everything that's gone into that. And so I just want everyone to recognize that this truly is, it's a hard decision, sure. I do believe that the decisions being made are in the best interest of not just our students, but our district as a whole, as far as that goes. And these are people's livelihoods. We just heard a comment about the fact that, you know, we're sending away and packing people up. And so everything that goes along with that aspect of it is also taken into consideration. But more than anything, when it comes down to it, is we have to look at the data. We have to look at where we were years before to where we are now, and ultimately where our district stands based off that. And so I just want everyone to understand that and see why it is something that I would support when it comes to renewing the contracts. Thank you.
Further discussion? Please go ahead.
If I may. One of the most striking things to me as we reviewed, as we've taken this last month and reviewed the information coming in, is that there's a lot of passion and a lot of emotion, and those are great things. But when you look at the raw data and every available metric and statistic that we have available to us, it's hard to argue with the positive trajectory we're seeing in every single metric. There is no area that has not improved in the past 2 years. Now, the argument can be made that it could be improving faster, and that can certainly, I would entertain that. And what I really entertain is constructive ideas to make that happen. But the data doesn't support the emotion in my mind alone. And so I think it's been really good to take that dive and look at the data. But regardless, from this point forward, in the past and from this point forward, any vote or decision I make will be based on data and fact and not emotion.
Thank you, Mr. Gardner.
I would like to chime in on the recalibration, because that was a concern as well. We were good for this year, but at the same time, if we have an issue next year, I feel like it means we have an issue this year. Discussions with Dr. Libby, he's made some moves that 3 positions won't be refilled. That'll be a savings there, and we'll be looking at other options. It's important to note that this is me, my personal opinion, but I don't think it is, but our legislature doesn't think schools need administrators. And I don't think that's fair to them. So I think we really need to look at how we only get the funds we get. So we have to spend them with what we got. And I think it's great that we're paying teachers more. That's awesome. But I do think that as we're discussing with our legislators who make those decisions, that we share with them how important those administrators are as well, so we can have good continuity. So I feel like Dr. Libby's already taken some good moves as far as preparing ourselves better for that hit next year, but it'll be interesting the discussions we have over the next year of what that looks like, because I know we still don't know exactly what it looks like. as well. But we know that there's it's kind of a signal too. So thank you for sharing the extra info with us.
Yeah, and I guess I'll wrap up if we're done here and just say, as chairman, I really appreciate the amount of time that we've put in over this last month. I know that delaying the contracts had all sorts of consequences, but all of you committed to putting in the time and the effort and doing the hard work to making sure that we felt good about our decisions going forward. And that's really important. And the fact that we have a plan in place for how we're going to continue this is also very valuable. I think in the past, as boards that we've all been a part of in various capacities, the communication has never been as strong as it has been with us this last month. And so I look forward to continuing that and to continuing the conversations with Dr. Libby as well. And hopefully really seeing our district excel in the right direction and have a lot of progress there. So with that, we've had a motion and a second. All those in favor to approve the certified administrative staff recommended for rehire for the 2026-2027 school year, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll now move on to agenda item 11, which is just various policy changes for board information. It's probably worth pointing out that we're going to have several policies moving around with some of the new legislation coming out and some of the requirements therein that have a July 1 deadline, which is what a lot of the work's happening right now, as well as just our continued WSBA policy audit that we've been going through too. Vacancy information's there in the Head Start Governing Board and Policy Council monthly report. Okay, with that, can I please have a motion to go into executive session? Oh, please, yes.
I have just a question on these policies. So both of them are being withdrawn. Are they just, were they working against like statutes, or it's already one of those things we don't need to write a policy on because it's state statute? Or appreciate your insight.
We've had policy committee meetings, but I wasn't
Dash E is a form that's not matching up with, it's not current with our current practices. And JFC M-R is a procedure. The policy JFCM is still in place, but it's contradicting our student discipline policy JFC. And we do not practice progressive discipline in this district, that if it's like a first offense, that every single person gets this, because there are certain things that are situational. And they will come forward again next month.
Right. Okay, with that, is there a motion to go into executive session? It's been moved by Mr. Gardner and second by Ms. Wood. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And I do not anticipate any action upon our return. Dr. Franks, it's your time to shine. Can I have a motion to return to the regular meeting? It's been moved by Dr. Franks, there's second. Second by Mr. Gardner. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Wow. Any opposed? Motion passes. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? It's been moved by Dr. Franks.
Second.
Oh, second by Ms. Schumacher. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Okay, any opposed? We'll close the meeting at 8:46 PM.